আজকে একটা অস্ট্রেলিয়ার সুন্দর জায়গায় নিয়ে যাচ্ছি তোকে। জায়গাটার নাম হচ্ছে জেনোলিন কেভস। জেনোলিন সিডনি থেকে প্রায় ধর 175 কিলোমিটার, উইচ ইজ অ্যাকচুয়ালি ইন এ রুরাল ভ্যালি ইন দ্য সাউদার্ন ব্লু মাউন্টেন ন্যাশনাল পার্ক। এটা মোটামুটি একটা একদিনের সফরে যাতায়াত করা যায়। সিডনি থেকে জেনোলিন গুহা পর্যন্ত যাওয়ার কোনো পাবলিক ট্রান্সপোর্ট নেই, সেজন্য এই সিডনি থেকে কোনো বাস সার্ভিস যেগুলো আছে সেগুলো একদিনে গিয়ে একদিনেই ফিরে যায়। এবার জেনোলিন নামটি, যার অর্থ হচ্ছে হাই হিলস, মানে উচ্চ পর্বত, 1984 সালে এই এলাকার একজন নামটা গৃহীত করেছিল। জেনোলিন গুহা নেটওয়ার্কে মোট ধর 9 থেকে 10টা কেভস আছে, যার মধ্যে লুকাস গুহা ভ্রমণ হচ্ছে এই সমস্ত গুহাগুলোর মধ্যে সবচেয়ে জনপ্রিয় গুহা। জেনোলিন গুহাগুলিতে প্রথম ভ্রমণ দেখার জন্য এটা হচ্ছে সবচেয়ে বেস্ট গুহা। এখানে সবচেয়ে বেস্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট হচ্ছে এই দ্য গ্র্যান্ড আর্ক, দেখবে আসবে সামনে, ওয়াজ আ ফার্স্ট কেভ দ্যাট ইউরোপিয়ান ডিসকভার্ড অ্যালং উইথ দ্য ডেভিলস কোচ হাউস, অ্যান্ড দিস ইজ দ্য লার্জেস্ট ফর্মেশন অ্যাট জেনোলিন কেভস। অ্যাট দ্য এন্ট্রান্স to the Grand Arc is a cramp creek which is responsible for formation of the caves.
Thai? But what is the actually history behind this discovery, Baba?
জেনোলিন কেভসের একটা আবিষ্কারের গল্প আছে, which is by জেমস ওয়ালেন। মানে হি ওয়াজ অ্যাকচুয়ালি এ পশুপালক, বাট 1938 সালে দিকে উনি আবিষ্কার করেন। তবে জেমস ম্যাকেও এই ফার্স্ট ইউরোপিয়ান ছিল যিনি এই গুহাগুলোকে দেখেছিলেন। অ্যাকচুয়ালি তিনি একজন প্রাক্তন কারাগারী, মানে একজন অপরাধী ছিলেন, যে এই গুহাগুলোকে আড়াল করে নিজেকে লুকিয়ে রাখতেন। 1966 সালে সরকার গুহাগুলোকে নিয়ন্ত্রণ নেয় এবং 1967-এ জেরোমেন উইলসন এই গুহাগুলির রক্ষক নিযুক্ত করা হয়। উইলসন বেশ কয়েকটি গুহা আবিষ্কারের জন্য দায়ীও ছিলেন এবং পরবর্তী 30 বছর ধরে গুহাগুলিকে অন্বেষণ এবং আবিষ্কার করতে থাকেন।
ওকে, what was the indigenous structure of Jenolan caves?
এটা সম্বন্ধে একটা বেশ পুরনো তিথি আছে। বলে গুরাং গাছ নামে এক পৌরাণিক প্রাণী অ্যান্ড মিরাগান নামে একটা পৌরাণিক বাঘ ও বিড়ালের প্রতিযোগিতার সময় জেনোলিন কেভস গঠিত হয়েছে বলে মনে করা। দিস ইজ দ্য বিলিফ অফ দেয়ার ওল্ড পিপলস। The people like, Gurun Gura, they penetrated the caves as far as the subterranean water availability in the caves. And what they believe, carrying the sick people and to be bathed in this water, which they believe to be have a curative powers in the water.
Acha. So, what is the tentative age of these Jenolan caves?
Jenolan caves, actually the scientist has measured the ratio of radioactive potassiums and the trapped argon gas in the caves, which was produced when the potassium actually decayed. So scientists determined the age of the clay in the caves to be approximately 340 million years old. That is actually in the Carboniferous period of the earth, thereby making these caves most complex and the world oldest and the largest open cave system.
Wow. So how many caves are basically accessible nowadays?
এখানে just think, there are number of caves accessible, but Lucas caves is the best caves and the largest caves. Lucas গুহাটা মানে আবিষ্কারের প্রথম ইউরোপীয় হলেন 1960 সালে উনি আবিষ্কার করেছিলেন নিকোলাস আরউইন অ্যান্ড জর্জ হোয়াইট ইটিং। এই নামটি জন লুকাসকে সম্মানিত করেই করা হয়েছিল। উনি একজন পলিটিশিয়ান ছিলেন। 1966 সালে গুহাগুলিকে একটি রিজার্ভ হিসাবে সুরক্ষিত করার ক্ষেত্রে উনি গুরুত্বপূর্ণ ভূমিকা পালন করেছিলেন। ডিউ টু ইজ সাইজ অ্যান্ড অ্যাকোস্টিক্স অ্যান্ড দ্য ক্যাথিড্রাল চেম্বার ইন দ্য মিড ইজ অলসো ইউজড ফর অস্ট্রেলিয়ান ওয়েডিং সেরিমনিজ অ্যান্ড রিসিটেলস। আরেকটা গুহা যেমন চিফলে caves also was the first cave in the world to be lit by electric light in 1980s. মানে that time, caves-এর ভেতরে ইলেকট্রিক লাইট লাগানোটা was a number of question marks. 2 of the caves chambers are still decorated with the historic colored lights. আরেকটা গুহা যেমন ইম্পেরিয়াল গুহা, এটা সবচেয়ে অ্যাক্সেসযোগ্য গুহা এবং এছাড়া যেহেতু এটিতে কোনো মানে লার্জ চেম্বারের অভাব রয়েছে, অনেকগুলো কিন্তু বৈশিষ্ট্যপূর্ণ আর্কিটেকচার দেখতে পাওয়া যায় যেগুলো চমৎকার ফটোগ্রাফির অনুমতি দেয়। 1979 সালে এন্ডার গুহা থেকে সিঙ্কল দিয়ে এই গুহাটা আবিষ্কার করা হয়েছিল। আদার কেভস আর লাইক ওরিয়েন্ট, রিবন, জুবিলি, নেটলি ইটিসি। যেমন নেটলি কেভস অলদো রেটেড অ্যাজ আ মিডিয়াম ডিফিকাল্টি ট্যুর, বাট ইট ইজ সেলফ গাইডেড। এবার চল কেভসের ভেতরে যাওয়া যাক এবং ট্যুর গাইডের কথাগুলো শোনা যাক।
চলো।
And where we're going to go down that path and lead you on that next little passage because there's not enough room for us all to do. You can feel a bit of a draft coming through here. I want you to just
What's that?
This is the old original light, but the lighting set of wires and the hand bulbs are up there, okay?
You children could work out how many years ago that was and tell me when we get to the coat racks. Now, what we do, children, you have to be our leaders. You take us along, we come to one door, you open that door, mind the little step just as you go through, and then you keep going until you come to a place where there's a choice of 2 doors. All right? Okay. Good luck.
Could I just go with them just as some sort of supervisor?
So far we've been walking through a man-made tunnel, but this is a naturally formed limestone cave.
I haven't seen it yet.
Where we're standing,
That looks like my
I'll just squeeze by here. Folks, as we go through this cave, the convention is that if you discover the place, you get to name it, you get to name the chambers and the formations. So the names that I give to the chambers and formations, it's Mr. Wyberg's imagination at work. So, 1904, he makes a great discovery. He and his companions find their way through the cave. They're fascinated and amazed, and by 1917, they're starting to bring visitors in here. Through the Lucas, the river, up through the other end of this cave, make their way through the various chambers to that end, where we're standing now. They turn around and then go back out the way they came in. Now, as early blasting their way through to this chamber, they were supposed to be following Mr. Trickett's survey. Had they stuck to Mr. Trickett's calculations, they would have entered into that end around about here. But you know what human beings are like. Just tweak this a little bit. And part of the brief was the last couple of metres, use pick and shovel, don't use any of that dynamite stuff. But, hey, one more blast not going to make any difference. But it did. And in the blink of an eyelid, folks, I'm going to pass this to you. And you know what human beings are like. Oh, why take a small piece when you can take a large piece? This piece here, notice the colours, lots of iron oxide content. Can I pass this to you? Hold it with both hands, weighs about 2.5 times the weight of water. And you'll notice that this piece is all smooth and rounded on the surface. It's been rolling around in a stream out there on the surface. These pieces may well have been found along what's called, or what became known as, the Crystal Highway. Like imagine taking that out of the valley in your bag. Oh, it's can't change the official names of these formations, but we can certainly use our imagination. After taking a walk in the forest, if you glance over to this part of the chamber, this is known as the pilgrimage. And with a little bit of imagination, you can see the pilgrims making their way towards Santiago de Compostela. You can imagine that hanging in the entranceway to an enormous manor house, maybe, or possibly above your dining room table. A chandelier. Take the light off the chandelier. That's where the crystal formation takes place, as well as on your way either in or out of the well, if you go out onto this platform here,
It's amazing. Crystals are amazing.
Crystal forest. There's a lovely little crystal lake in there too, you might know. And all of these helictites. Oh, there's a lovely bird. And you'll notice that this stalactite is a different colour to its corresponding stalagmite. And if you drift over here, these lovely straws, but the children very often spot this one before anyone else. Here's the little fairy toilet scene here. You see, just there. And down below us is the volcano, as it's called. And I don't know what you can see from where you are, but you notice there's lovely bands of colour in these shoal formations. And the crystal's been developing, and then for some reason the water's started flowing in from a different source, not so much iron oxide content, so the newer crystal in geological terms is tending towards pure calcite. Just how long this has been developing, we're really not sure. Part of the reason for that is we can't be certain that it's been developing continuously or if it's been dry or dormant for periods of time. You may have noticed that some of the crystals sparkle. It sparkles when it's dry or dormant. And if you look at these iron-rich trees here, and you name the chambers and use these official names, they're navigation points. But Mr. Whitehead was fascinated by the travels and the empire, if you like, of Alexander the Great. He called this place Egypt, and he called this little crystal structure here, coming down from below the Egyptian colonnades. He called this the frozen Nile. It's probably been a long time since the Nile River was frozen, but it's a really good example of crystal which is dry or dormant at the moment. You'll notice that it's sparkling as the light reflects back towards you. And here's some more of these rim pools, which funnily enough, Mr. Whitehead called this the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral. So there's a few pigeons sitting around, two birds. Would you believe there's a great big minaret on the side? And if you let your eye drift up in here where these textbook stalactites are, these holes are referred to your mind's eye, you can imagine a chamber full of groundwater, where rainwater. But on the subject of crystal formations, there is a theory that this is in fact one large crystal. It's this crystals, this calcite crystal, which seems has the capacity to co-opt crystals that surrounds it and incorporate the surrounding crystal into its molecular structure. You see the size of these crystals there on this beautiful shore here. The slower the crystal development, the larger the crystals. Below the watermark. Interesting. This stuff that's referred to as cave coral that develops underwater. So, if you can imagine the chamber filled at least to this level for a long period, the water recedes, then new crystal development takes place. And then when we look at this crystal formation here, which is known as the guide strides, there's a bit of mud on the cuff there. For some reason it ends abruptly at the watermark. Did it dissolve away? Well, this is covered with coral, it didn't dissolve away. Did it break off? Well, if it broke off, I wonder where the piece is, where it's fallen to. Who knows? One theory is that it broke when the roof fell in the Lucas Cave, in the exhibition chamber, if anyone visited the Lucas Cave today. If you also notice that there's a platform down there, and that's our destination. So we're going to head down towards that platform, go straight down, turn abruptly to the right, and as we do, if you look back over your left shoulder, that's where the discovery hole is.
This chamber was first lit back in 1880 by a fellow called Lieutenant Colonel Cracknell and his mate Wally Hart, dragging 746 kilograms of batteries up the way you guys come about these steps.
Nuts. And up above your head, Greek mythology, she doesn't have hair, she has snakes. She is Medusa. There's Medusa just there. Oh. And there's Harry Potter's glasses. Bilbo, I'm not sure if that might be Bilbo over there in the forest. There's a lovely forest and there's somebody in there in the forest up among the trees. Now, how old are you? You're 8 3/4. I first came to Jenolan when I was 7 years old. That was 14 years ago. But certainly, when I came in here, a little bit later in my life, in 1968, the cave was about to be closed for cleaning.